In 1953, the US and Britain arranged a coup to oust Iran's democratic leader Mohammad Mossadegh with an authoritarian monarchy under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. 26 years later, the Iranian Revolution overthrew the monarchy and the Shah escaped to the US. Students protested outside the US embassy in Tehran and stormed the building, taking 90 hostages. They demanded the Shah's extradition for their release. A year later, the US backed Iraq's invasion of Iran, leading the Iranian government to begin negotiating the release of the embassy workers. The last 55 hostages were released in 1981 after being imprisoned for 444 days. Relations continued to worsen when in 1988, the US shot down an Iranian passenger plane, mistaking it for a fighter jet. All 290 people on board were killed.
It was an understandable accident to shoot and think that they were under attack from that plane.
Relations turned a corner when the Iranian president, Mohammad Khatami, called for both countries to break down the wall of mistrust.
There must first be a crack in this wall of mistrust to prepare us for a change and to create an opportunity to study a new situation.
And in 2000, then U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright both acknowledged and expressed regret over America's role in the 1953 coup.
The Eisenhower administration believed its actions were justified for strategic reasons, but the coup was clearly a setback for Iran's political development, and it is easy to see now why many Iranians continue to resent this intervention by America in their internal affairs.
2 years later, however, Iran was described as part of an axis of evil alongside North Korea and Iraq by President George W. Bush.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
The insults continued when ultra-conservative Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad blamed America for 9/11 in a UN speech. Things improved under Iran's new president Hassan Rouhani when in 2013 his phone call with Barack Obama was the first between a US and Iranian president in 30 years. This paved the way for a historic nuclear deal between Iran's 6 world powers: the US, UK, Russia, France, China, and Germany. The framework lifted crippling economic sanctions on Iran, and in return, the country would scale back its nuclear activities to ensure it could not build a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump started his presidency by making it clear Iran is not a friend of America, and added the nation to the list of Muslim countries banned from entering the US.
We're going to have a very, very strict ban, and we're going to have extreme vetting, which we should have had in this country for many years.
The month after Trump's inauguration, the US government applied new sanctions to Iran in response to missile tests.
We've taken these actions today after careful consideration and will continue to respond with appropriate action. These designations mark yet another stop in our continued effort to aggressively target Iran's ballistic missile program and terrorism-related activities.
U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis would go on to call Iran the single biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. May 2018 is the deadline to renew the nuclear agreement with Iran. Trump has threatened to leave the deal unless tougher regulations are put in place.
In the event we are not able to reach a solution working with Congress and our allies, then the agreement will be terminated.
Will the U.S. withdraw and undo the work of others to rebuild the two countries' relationship?